and I'll start your reading right now for Cancer. So the first card you have your past is the King of Cups. Yeah. So this he's all by himself. He's kind of on his own island. He's got water all around him. So I'm picking up this feeling of just wanting to be alone. I think you're feeling like this for a few reasons, actually. I'm seeing a few different things here. I think one is that you just had a lot on your mind. I'm just seeing you, I'm actually seeing you letting go of someone mentally and emotionally, finally. And I think this is someone who you weren't around physically. I think you might have even been separated for a while. But I think this was the time when you're finally letting go of this person, I think. I don't think there were many people who you could talk to about this, because I think a lot of people probably assumed that you're already over this. And I think you were mostly for a while, but there was just this one last part of you, I think, that was still holding on a bit. And, you weren't texting them or talking to them, and you weren't stalking them on social media or anything. Well, maybe sometimes you were, but not a lot. And you were over them in every other sense. You're completely over them, but there was just this little part. And I think now this was the final step that you had to take away from them. And, a lot of the time people say, oh, I'm so happy I'm finally over them. And that's fantastic for them. But I don't think it was like that for you. I think you were starting to feel a little bit freer at this time, but it was still hard for you. It wasn't easy for you. And maybe that was one of the reasons why you're isolated in other ways, because, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to understand that. People say things like, oh, you should have been over this a long time ago, and things like that. They see it in terms of, years or months or weeks or something. But, time, as we know it today, the clock's time, the time on the clock, was invented by humans. It was invented in ancient Egypt, actually. But emotions and spirituality and the universe aren't a slave to the clock. They're not a slave to man's time. And, the time that this has taken, even if it's been painful for you, this was the right time sequence for you. And I hate saying this, but any kind of pain, anything you went through, all of that kind of thing, was all happening for a reason for you, to learn something and to take that amount of time. That was what was best for you. That's what I'm seeing in that card. The next card you have your past is the 8 of Wands. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people around you talking, but you were feeling isolated from them. I'm seeing a group, or even different groups of people, several groups, all talking, and you were kind of the quiet one in the group. You can be a little bit quiet sometimes anyway. Your mood changes a lot in groups anyway. It's not that you're moody or that you don't feel like talking. It's just that you can't make yourself talk if you're not in the mood to talk. You're not unfriendly. But there are times when you're just in your own thoughts, and I think this is what was happening to you at this time. I actually think with one of these groups you might have been feeling a little bit, less and less tied to it, if that makes sense. Maybe you're feeling close to some of these people. I'm actually seeing one person in the group who you're really close to. And I think you prefer to see them on their own, actually. But it's a bit awkward. For some reason, you weren't able to see them by themselves for some reason at this time, or you felt that you weren't able to. That's what I'm seeing. And I think you might have even been feeling as if you didn't want to spend time with most of these people anymore. There are some people in this particular group that you don't have a lot in common with. And also I think there are a couple of difficult people there as well. I think you'll probably eventually distance yourself from this particular group I'm seeing, but try to hold on to this one person who you do feel closest to. I think they're a really good person. And maybe try to see them on their own if you can, because I think one-on-one interaction suits you better anyway, and you don't want to lose this person. That's the feeling I'm getting around that card. So the last card you have your past is Death. So yeah, the end. You're finally getting over this person. I'm seeing that again here, and I think the relief of that and the happiness around that will catch up to you eventually, and then you'll feel a lot happier once you kind of, generally, I think you still have a few things to process and definitely at this time you're still processing a lot. I think this relationship had a big impact on you. I think you even changed as a person while you were with them. Not because they changed you wanted to change, I think, and it was just a natural thing that happened to you as well. And that's a part of this process as well. Your identity, or the idea of who you are, changed while you were with them from who you were before. And now I think what was happening was you were kind of processing this. You were reassessing who you were and who you kind of didn't want to go back to. It was like you didn't want to go back to who you were before them, but you didn't want to be the exact same person that you were when you were with them either, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm trying to articulate that. I hope this makes sense to you. I think you will find a happy medium here. And, this is still a process. There's still a big process in front of you, I think. But I think you will find that new sense of balance, and you'll eventually feel a lot happier in yourself when that happens to you. And also it might be that some of these people I'm seeing in these groups, might be a part of the old you. So they might have views and ideas that you've moved on from. So that might be another reason why you're feeling not alienated, but separate from some of these people. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have for your presence, Temperance. Yeah, so again, you're gradually going to find this sense of balance, and this is going to bring you out of that feeling of still being a little bit lost, kind of still worried, still processing things, being a bit unsure of things. This is a fantastic card. I love this card. It's probably my favorite card. It's about rising up, alchemy, making things, creating new circumstances. So you're going to be working on this. You're going to be working on finding this new identity for yourself. It's going to be work, but it's going to be good work. And I think this new identity, or your new identity, it's going to be a combination of before you're with them, while you're with them, and you're also going to be, there are also going to be a lot of new fresh ideas and things that you're going to bring into your life as well. So this is really fantastic. This is like a path from where you were to where you're going. And the triangle, like on this angel's chest, can represent, alchemy, a few different things, pushing upwards, moving upwards, ascension, things like that. But here I'm seeing it's a combination of these three lives, three corners of this triangle, before them, with them, and after them. I don't normally measure someone's life by their relationships, but I'm getting this feeling that that's what you do sometimes, or you did. Maybe you measure things, or you remember other things that have happened in your life by the timeline of this relationship. So that's how I'm seeing this here. So I think that might be what's happening. But it's definitely happening. You're moving on to way better things in your life. If you look at this card as well as the Death card, if you look at both of these cards, there's a path leading up to the sun in both of them. So that's where you're going. You're on a path leading up to the sun, leading up to better things, happiness. And I love this. I actually love the fact that you're not just totally shedding the parts of yourself that you were when you were with this person, that you're keeping the best of everything, you're embracing the new and that as well. And that says maturity to me, because a lot of people go, oh, I don't want anything to do with anything with them ever again. And the person I want to change, I'm going to change everything. And you weren't doing that. You go, no, these parts of me are good. I want to keep that. These parts of my thinking, these parts of my being, these parts of everything, I want to keep that, but I'm going to discard that bit, but keep this bit. And so it's like you're keeping the best of everything, and you're kind of embracing new things as well. So that's really, really good. I like to see that. So the next card you have for your present is the Moon. So yeah, here you are again, going up this path. This lobster's been down in the deep, dark ocean, right down there. You can't quite see him. I'll move that so you can see the lobster. Yeah, so he's right down there in the water, in the deep, dark water. I'm trying to say, I can't say the word water. And and now he's coming out of that. He's coming out of his darkest times. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm also seeing some creativity in this card. I think this is going to be a time when a lot of different ideas come to you, and I know this might sound a bit trivial and a bit silly and not very important, but I think you're going to change a lot on the outside as well. You might find a whole new style of clothes that you like, or you might start a new way of eating or exercising. And these things are going to help you they're going to be inspired by how you feel on the inside. So the inside's going to help the outside, and then the outside, how you feel on the outside, is going to help you again on the inside. So it's like they're reflecting each other. So you're making improvements everywhere. So this is really fantastic. And okay, I'm just seeing, I don't want to upset anyone, but I'll just say this. If you've been having dreams about someone who isn't on this earth anymore, okay, they're watching over you. I know this is going to sound strange, but there might be something you either talked about with them or you shared this thing with them. It's something inventive or creative, and they want to see you doing this because you're happy when you do whatever this is, and they want to see you happy. They want you to be happy. So if this resonates, just know that. Look into whatever this thing is that makes you happy, that they want you to do, that you shared with them. It might be collecting something. It might be making something. It was something that you shared with them and spoke to them about. And they're protecting you. That's what I'm seeing. It might be something that takes a long time for you to do by hand, because doing something by hand might be painting, it might be making something. Doing something by hand relaxes your mind and calms your mind down and gets you into the moment, into the process. And I think that's what they might be trying to get you to do. They want to protect you. They care about you. They're definitely protecting you. I'm seeing that very clearly. They want you to be happy. So that's what I'm seeing. I hope that makes sense to someone. Okay, so the last card you have, your present, is the Emperor, and I'll move that up again so you can see. So, again, you're making all these changes inside, outside of yourself and everywhere, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that. And you might be right in the middle of all of this. I'm not so sure what stage you're at. But if you are, you're probably still a little bit emotional, and this is still, but it's all changing for you. You're kind of right in this. Now, there are going to be some people, I already saw some friends or some friendship groups that you felt a little bit distant from. And I think there's one person, probably in your family, who might feel a little bit, or they might be a little bit mystified actually by these changes that you're making. This is a really sort of right and wrong kind of person, maybe a father figure. It might even be your father, or it might be a relative, probably an older relative, and they see themselves as a really no-nonsense person. But because they're so no-nonsense, they miss a lot of things, a lot of beautiful things. And, if you go marching, I'm imagining them as a kind of soldier, like this emperor in his suit of armour, not coat of arms. So yeah, I'm imagining this kind of soldier, this no-nonsense person, and kind of marching past everything to get to their purpose. And if you march past things, you don't get to see things. If you're marching past a rose, for example, you won't get to see the rose, and the rose might be a beautiful addition to your life. So you miss a lot. So I think that's what's happening with this person. I just don't think they're going to understand any of these things that you're doing. And, they might even be ready to argue with you when you see them, or even battle. This emperor's, again, wearing his suit of armour, not his coat of arms. But I think, they're just mystified. They're just mystified that some people go through changes in their lives, and, they're very stick to one thing and stay there and move forward in that. So I think it's just a little bit hard for them to understand. So I don't think they're angry or unhappy with you or anything, just a bit mystified. They don't understand it. So, you can try to talk to them if you like, but you probably won't get anywhere with them. I think this is just a case of letting them be them and you be you. So if you come across this, which I think you probably will at some time soon if you haven't already, don't argue too much. Just say, okay, well, that's fine if you don't think that, whatever. So the last card you have, you futures, the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, again, I think this is about this creative thing I was seeing in the moon card. And this thing, this making something, and this person who wants to see you happy, this person who's protecting you. Sometimes this card can be about a stonemason being shown a plan, having to work to someone else's instructions. So again, they're giving you an instruction. They're trying to show you to do this thing. And this is really interesting because I don't know if you shared this idea with this person. I think you did, or you talked to them about this, or maybe it's an idea you both came up with around this thing. And they want you to do this again. They want you to do this. Because when I look at these 3 pentacles, they look a little bit like 2 minds or 2 brains coming together, and the coin or the wheel on the top represents an idea coming out of those 2 brains. So you had some kind of an exchange. You spoke to this person about whatever this creative thing is, making this thing, and this is showing you again that it comes from both of you, and they want to see you take up this again, or at least think about this. It might actually be something that reminds you of them, so maybe it's something that's a bit hard for you to do. You obviously you'll feel very sad being reminded of this person. So if that's the case, just take your time on this, because the overwhelming feeling around this is that they want you to be happy. So if it's going to make you feel unhappy starting this, just leave it for a while. Maybe gradually ease your way into this again if you can, if that all resonates with you. So the next card you have in your future is the 4 of Pentacles. So these are all pentacles. All these future cards are all pentacles. So you might even be being led to a way toward your abundance by this person. They want you to be happy. I keep on saying they want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. I want to protect you. I am protecting you. They say, I am protecting you. I want you to be happy. That's all I keep on seeing. So it might be that, because there's a lot of money here, and they want you to be in happiness. So that might be through an abundance. I don't know. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is, I don't want to make this turn negative all of a sudden, because this is such a beautiful reading, beautiful. But there might be someone who you don't really want to talk to, and I think they might want to communicate with you. It's about something you disagreed on, and they weren't able to come to terms with this disagreement. There wasn't any closure. And so I think they might still be holding on to this disagreement, like this man's holding on to this coin. And, they might even be thinking about trying to get to some kind of conclusion with you. So just be aware of that. You might decide to talk to them, I don't know, but just remember, you don't have to. You don't have to talk to them if you don't feel like, if you feel as if enough's being said and you've been fair with them, you've said everything you need to say, you don't have to talk to them. So yeah, they're still hanging on to this, I think. So just be ready for that. That's what I'm seeing now. So the last card you have for your future is the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, this person in the 4 of Pentacles, they can't let go of this. They cannot let go of this. There's something they feel is unfinished, and they just want to work with you on this. They want to work and work and work until they get to this conclusion. But again, I can't see any more of that. There's nothing else. What I'm saying, there's nothing else that can be said. You've said everything you need to say. They've said everything you need to say. You can't keep on going backwards and forwards with the same conversation over and over again. It's just repetition at this stage. The man on this card's making these coins, but they're all pretty much the same. It's repetition. If you went into this again, I think you just repeat the same things you've already said and they've already said. There'd be no point in this at all. Of course, this is all up to you. But that's how I'm seeing this situation. So Cancer, I hope this resonated, but general readings can't always resonate with everyone. But again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to. And thank you so, so much for watching.